Okay, this is going to be my first podcast. Oh my God. I'm just putting a Rode microphone onto my phone, and I'm just pressing record, and I have no idea how this is going to go. So, well, you know what? There's always a first time for everything. So, this is the first one, and I'm actually sitting in my home studio right now, writing up ideas about YouTube videos and what kind of videos that I should be making, stuff like that. And I was just looking at my web page, and I was looking at some of the videos where basically people were talking about like when they got laid off and stuff like that. And of course, uh, a lot of old memories came crashing into my head. What happened was 10 years ago, I too was actually laid off. Economic cutbacks, all that nonsense, whatever they tell you, that's what it is. And what makes see the thing is, millions of people lose their jobs every day. Okay, it's very sad, but it's what happens. And you some of us are very strong. We know exactly what to do. We keep it together, and then we move ahead. But there's other people who are not as strong, and because they have a lot of responsibilities, especially people who have families, right? So the thing is, for me, at that time I was single, so it was not a big deal, and I knew it was coming because at our company, a lot of people were being laid off little by little, which was just terrible. And the feeling like you just go to work, and that that's the mood that is going on in the office right now. And a lot of people are very silent, maybe they're very quiet walking around. And then suddenly when some people get laid off on another floor, the news travels really fast, and then there's coffee, like where the kitchen is, and there'll be some kind of talk. And then somebody comes up to me and say, hey, do you know this guy on the 19th floor? Yeah, he was let go today, man. And it was terrible. And for me, I remember because I worked on multiple floors, like in the sense like I used to work with multiple teams of people, so I kind of like knew about it, in the sense that I knew like people from different floors, so the news would come to me very fast. So I would always go. I remember I would always go and try to meet the person who was let go, and just offer my condolences. Just say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, man. Here's my phone number. Here's my email, and if there's something I can do for you, just let me know. And or send me your resume. I know some people around. Maybe I'll pass your resume around, and just uh, whether I could really help them or not was not the point. The point was I was there for them, and I wanted to really be there for them and just let them know, like, listen, yeah, what happened to you was not very nice, and it happens, and I'm very sorry that it happened to you. Especially, I know you, so it feels a little bit close to home. But I want you to know that I'm here. So if you need somebody to talk to, or you need some help, just remember that I am here. Like, genuinely, I am here. I'm not just saying it. So if you need to grab a cup of coffee over the weekend, just let me know. And so that was the position that I would take, because I was thinking, like, listen, let me just do that. And I remember when the time came and I was let go. Oh my God, I totally remember that day. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was the first one, actually, because I remember, you just, I don't play poker, but I know that some people just can't keep a straight face. And then when they were arranging themselves in that, like, actually there was only two of them, if I remember correctly. And I want to stress it right now that my boss wasn't there. And of course, I'd rather my boss was there and I heard it from my boss. It would have felt more comfortable. But you know what? She didn't want to be there. And I don't blame her after all these years. But at that time, I was a little bit angry, in the sense that I'd rather she told me, like, listen, I'm sorry, this happened. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much. And I'm sure she would have said, listen, thank you for being with us for so long and working hard. I know what you did, all the cool stuff that you did, working long hours, coming in on the weekends. I know that. I know that you were there. And it would have felt much nicer, for me at least, But that didn't happen. There were only two people there. One was somebody that I knew from before. He had left the company and then he came back and he had to sit there. He would, he was there with glasses on, and he was just totally uncomfortable because he really didn't want to be there. They probably just told him that you need to be there. And there was this other lady who had all the forms that I had to sign, all that stuff. And I've never met her in my whole life. So I remember going into the office, I mean, into the meeting room. They closed the door. They said, listen, you know what this is? I'm like, yeah, I know what this is about. So let's try to do this in less than 5 minutes. Tell me what I need to do. Tell me where I need to sign. And then that's it. Because I really don't want to have any conversation on anything. Because at that time, at that moment, you're let go, right? Like, what are you going to say? I mean, the company has already made its decision for whatever reason, and there's no need for you to sit there and say, "Listen, I worked so hard. I did this. I did that," because they don't care. That's why there are two people sitting in front of you or across from you, which doesn't mean anything because they're not going to do anything for you. They're just going to sit there, listen to whatever you have to say, and say, okay, fine, thank you very much for talking, which was a total waste of everybody's time. So please sign this paper and get lost. That's basically what's going on in their head. So I was fine with it. So I said, listen, let me just, you guys just tell me where I need to sign. If there's any Cobra, health insurance stuff, if it, like whatever, then they say, oh, you need to meet these people because they're going to help you with your resume and they're going to design your resume for you so you can go and get another job. I was like, man, with all the years of experience that I have, all I need to do is make phone calls and get a job. I don't even need to make a resume. Uh, but I know that they had to go through the motions of things to make it look like we are helping you. But honestly, they didn't care, which is fine. I have nothing against that. But I remember it being a very, very terrible time for me that day. But I was okay with it because, like I said, I was not the only one let go. There were other people being let go weeks prior to my time, right? So I was like, okay, that's it. In less than, I think maybe it took 10 minutes, maybe less than 10 minutes. I signed whatever I need to sign. I had no idea what I signed. I just said, tell me where I need to put my blue ink because I had my beautiful fountain pen, blue ink. I remember that distinctly. After 10 years, I still remember. I still have that pen, by the way. And they were like, yeah, you need to sign here, here, here. So I signed. God knows how many pieces of paper I signed, and I signed, and that was it. And then I went back to work, and of course they told me like, listen, please don't tell this to anybody. And I said, okay, okay, I can respect that. I understand. It creates a lot of problems. And I kept a straight face. I went back, and there were people who worked with me, so they were on the cubicles, and they were like, "Oh, where were you? You were missing for a while." I'm like, "No, I just had to go and just get something." I was on another floor. I lied, and I lied very well because the person who was closest to me was my assistant, and she would catch me if I was lying. Like she knew if I was lying, and the fact that she didn't catch me, that meant I should take up the game of poker and play because I probably would win a lot of money at Las Vegas or something like that because I had a really straight face and she did not catch on to it till much later on that somebody else found out because word spreads very fast. I was a pretty, I don't want to say I was a popular guy, but I was a guy that people knew because I had to work with multiple teams. Anywhere I would go, I would always say hello to people. People always say hello to me. Like, like I was a friendly guy, so people knew me. And and then the news went to her that, hey, listen, man, you're well, I was not exactly her boss, but they would say like, hey, like he got laid off. And she was like, no, he didn't tell me anything. And it was a very embarrassing conversation that I had to have with her because she was like, why did you tell me? And I said, listen, I don't want you to cry, and I don't want that day to go that direction. Let's finish up our work, and that's about it. So they gave me some time, so I didn't have to leave immediately. So I had to pack all my stuff and little by little take things home because I was there for I think 8 years, 8.5 years, if I'm correct. That's a long time. I mean, there are people working at companies for like 18 years, 25 years, and then they're being let go. So my story is probably absolutely useless or totally nothing. But this is just a podcast, right? So who cares? Anyway, so the thing, and then I remember that day. It was very cold because it was in November, just before. Was it before Thanksgiving? Yeah, I think it was before Thanksgiving, like a week before Thanksgiving. I have this written down in my journal somewhere, but right now, as I'm doing this podcast, I just turned on the microphone and I said, "Let me just go at it." And I did not, know any. I mean, I was this was not prepared. I just wanted to make a podcast regarding the stuff that I was reading through today, but looking at all the YouTube stuff, which was like a lot of people being let go and stuff like that, which is terrible. And and so then I remember standing. This was New York, of course. So I was, of course, standing in Union Square. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Union Square. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm thinking of Washington Park, but no, it was Union Square on the north side. So there's a street right there, and right across is the Barnes and Noble. I don't know if you guys ever been to New York and that area. And the park was there, and I was telling myself, shall I go to Barnes and Noble and maybe look at some books, or shall I just take the subway and go home? And I remember standing there in the cold. My hands were in my jacket. It was very cold. The air was very cold. And I just stood there. The whole city was just going by me. Traffic was going by me just like normal. And I stood there across Barnes and Noble for at least, if I remember correctly, it was 45 minutes. I stood there for 45 minutes. I didn't go into because I knew that if I was going to take the subway and go home, I would end up crying, which I probably ended up doing anyway. I mean, I end up just doing anyway, right? But I wanted to delay that because I thought if I just stood in public, I would hold back my tears. Like I would like there's no way I'm going to be a grown man standing there, people walking around, and I'm crying because it's going to be terrible. That's just not going to happen. I don't know. The sting of tears was just there. The tear was still on my at the it was like there and was not. I was not allowing it to fall down my cheek, so to speak. And people were walking by, and I was looking at Barnes and Noble, and I was like, telling myself, let me just stand here. Let's just stand still. Be still for a moment, because all the time till that moment, I was working very hard, moving very fast, running up and down floors, elevators up and down, meeting different teams of people, and there was like all this stuff going on, and then suddenly now it all ended. It all just ended, and I wanted to take that in. And now the thing is that this is something new for me because I have never been let go before that point. So I had no idea how to react. I had no idea what to do, what to say, or what to tell myself. Like nobody even walked up to me and said the same way like I did it for others. Like nobody came up to me and say, "Hey, listen, man, do you want to have a cup of coffee this weekend? Are you okay? Can we talk later? Maybe make sure you're okay." Nobody, no, not a single person that I have known for 8 years offered me anything. They didn't even say like, yeah, hey, sorry, this happened to you, man. This could happen to us too, and it probably will happen to us in the days to come. Nothing, because everybody was probably in shock. So I'm not angry with anybody because I just think that they were probably in shock, saying, "Oh my God, if he can be let go, wow, we are not too far away," type of thing. Maybe they felt like that. It was close to home, so they were probably in more shock than me, maybe, because I was in total shock. I had no idea what was going on, and but it really felt like a truck, like a 16 wheeler came rushing down the road and just slammed me in my chest. That's exactly how it felt. And 10 years later, or 11 years at this point, I still feel it. It's not, I don't think it's going to go. People always say, like, hey, listen, things will get better. As time moves on, you'll move on, everything will be okay, and things will get better. But for me, the thing is, I really like that job. That is the worst part. I wish that was not the case. I wish I hated my job and everything. Then I would be more like, yeah, yay, thank you. I'm out of here, man. I hate this job. I hate all of you, and then just go. But no, I really liked my job. If I could just slept all night there, fine, I would have done it. I would not have complained. Just order in Chinese takeout, which was my favorite, and I would have been okay with it. I went into work on Saturdays. I remember this, going to work on Saturdays, buying lunch from the street corner. That the Middle Eastern guys, and they make this spicy rice with spicy chicken. They mix it up, and then they put like this white mayonnaise sauce If you're in New York, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then that's kind of okay, no problem. And of course, I would order a piece of that, a delivery of that, and of course I would take it up to my office because I was probably the only one there. I'd blast my music because I had a very nice stereo. I remember I had the Apple Harman Kardon. I forget. I'm not saying it. I'm sorry, I'm blabbering. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, but it was really cool. It had the woofer and the tweeters. It sounded so good. I gave that to my cousin, by the way, later on as a gift. But I had that on in my office, and I would blast music and stuff like that, which was really cool. I would work on a Saturday. It was awesome. Well, anyway, I just wanted to, make a my first podcast and just test this out, just to see how this medium is going to work. And people ask me on my channel, it says my life part two. What does that mean? And I'm like, yeah, that's what happened. That was my life part two. That means till the point when before getting laid off, was my life part one, basically, which was an awesome life, which was great. I'm thankful to everybody for all the opportunities that they gave me, obviously. And I worked very hard too. It's not like they gave me opportunities and I just took it for granted. No, I really worked very hard. I was a team player. I was always on board with everything, and I respected everybody. I'm sure there were some arguments here and there, but you know what? When we're trying to make good products, there's going to be good. There's going to be healthy arguments because we're trying to make the best products for our consumers, for our customers. So of course we're going to do that. We want to make sure that we are producing the best of the best, not even the best of the best. So anyway, so I remember all that stuff, and I was reading all this stuff on YouTube today, and I was seeing like I don't know why my YouTube feed suddenly has all this stuff about people being laid off and how they were dealing with it and stuff like that. And actually, I'm looking at my feed even now, and I see there's still about, oh, I got laid off, or like whatever. I mean, there's just so many of it. Here's one that says, "I lost my dream job after 18 years. Please don't make the same mistakes." Mikey Rogers. I haven't seen this one yet. I probably will watch it later. And it was posted 6 days ago. So what I'm trying to say is, like, suddenly I don't know why this is showing up. So I guess people are being laid off right now, and they're making videos and putting it on their channel. So I'm like, I'm not sure I'm going to make a video on this. Maybe I will. I just only have my microphone on. So just little thing out there, like, guys, it'll happen to you at some point. Just take it in stride. Remember, it's not the end of the world. It's not, and it's okay to feel bad about it. Because some of us don't just go to work because it's work. We go to work because we love what we do. And we are blessed when we have that, because there's a lot of people that I know who totally hate their jobs. I mean, at any given point, they will run away. I mean, if you want to know if you're one of those people, go to your office tomorrow, whatever, and take a look at your office. If you have a lot of personal things there, it kind of means that you like what you're doing. But if you can actually look at your office and have a small box and throw everything in your box, meaning that if somebody just laid you off and you'd be like, yep, it'll take me like less than 2 minutes to pack my stuff and leave, probably you were not meant to be there to begin with. Maybe you really hated the job. Maybe you think you could have done other things, and maybe that was just maybe a transition job or something like that. So that's how you know whether you really like your job or not. So for me, it took me like a couple of weeks to get my stuff together and take it out of the office, because I had my stereo. That alone was a box on its own, right? Because I don't know if you guys know that the Harman one, it's kind of big. It's kind of heavy too. And I had a lot of photographs and accolades and stuff like that, which I had to take away, and which was fine, which was fine. So let me end this podcast over here. Thank you for listening. I don't even know if you're listening or not, but if you are, I just want to let you know, like, listen, it's not a big deal. Of course, it's easy to say, but it really is not a big deal. All you have to do is just remember that one door is closing, which is fine. Say thank you, and another door is going to open. Absolutely. But remember, before going from one door to another door, take 2 weeks off and totally eat chocolate cake and ice cream. Do that, because you totally deserve it, because probably nobody else has ever bought for you, maybe. But go ahead. There's a lot of ice cream stores out there, a lot of stores out there selling cake now. It's not that expensive like it used to be. Go alone, don't go with anybody. Go sit there, order the finest piece of cake that you can find. Get cake and take a ice cream and throw it on top of the cake if you want to, and totally just sit and eat and enjoy, because you totally deserve that, because you're that awesome. It's so sad that if people around you don't realize how awesome you are, but you should know that you're awesome, and you know that you have the power to turn everything around. And remember, if you get, like, if you just lose your job or something like that, just say plot twist. All right, plot twist. Now something else is going to happen. The drama starts. I'm going to do something else, and then embrace it. I remember I read this somewhere. I think it was what's his name? Oh my God, Prime Minister of Winston Churchill, a British Prime Minister. I remember he said that if you are walking through hell, walk as if you own it. Walk through hell as if you own it. That's what it is, which I thought was pretty cool. You know what? I think I should write that down and put it on my monitor just to remind myself. 10 years later, everything is fine. I'm perfectly fine. I have a lot of lovely cats, wife, family. Everything is cool. But I will say this: I do miss my job. I really liked it a lot. It was something that I was very good at. It was intuitive, if you go to my channel, in the beginning of my channels, like all my old videos, you will see that I'm talking about what my job is. So in case you like to know all that stuff, you can always check it out. um, but good luck to you, and thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm not sure if I'm going to make more podcasts, but this is my first try just to see how it is. And of course, maybe I will see you guys in my channel, if not in a podcast. And if not, then good luck. And remember, you're awesome. Don't let anybody say differently, because you're awesome. You know you're awesome. And guess what? You're going to go and do awesome things. And all these people are going to be sitting on the sidelines, watching you do awesome things, and they're going to be so jealous of you. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I feel. So, cheers, God bless, and see you next time. Bye bye.